Oh, they are home standing tall. How about these Rangers with a great start to the homestand and have a chance to make it, so good. It's the DLLS Rangers podcast. John Radigan, Abby Jones, Jeff Wilson at Globe Life Field, and none of us today are as excited as our Cowboys DLLS crew, which has already done one podcast to announce the signing of Dak Prescott to a new 4-year contract. But also, they are so excited about the fact that the Cowboys season begins today. Meantime, Jeff, this Rangers homestand ends today. And like I said, it could be better. You can go undefeated, but if they're able to win today and only lose one game in each of the series, that's a pretty good accomplishment.
Yeah, real good, especially where we've seen this team play all season. And if they do win today, I think it would be 4 straight winning series.
Correct.
Kind of get off to a good foot. Hopefully, going into the day off, have some momentum, then going on the road there for 6 games. But you've seen them win in all kinds of ways. But I think the big one has been the comebacks. They came back obviously on Wyatt Langford's grand slam. They had a walk-off with Leody Taveras, and then last night was a comeback. They looked lost and left for dead, but the offense came alive late, and again did it without the long ball. But you got to like the way that these guys are playing right now.
And Emily Jones presented an interesting stat last night in the presser with Bruce Bochy. Half of this team's wins have been comeback wins. It's one of those things, you don't necessarily love it, but you also don't hate it.
Well, you love the fact that the team, and we love your comment too, Misty, because Jeff's been talking about 500 since the day we went on the air. So I love Misty 1985. Good comment. That's very possible. It gets more and more possible the better that the Rangers play. But yes, you don't love that your team gets down by runs and needs to come back, Jeff, but you love the fact that they have the poise, right, and the confidence to mount these comebacks.
Yeah, it kind of goes to the fans who are a little bit sassy and a little bit upset with how the season's gone, and they're saying, they'll say that the Rangers have quit. They'll fall behind 3-0 or something like that, and all these guys have quit. These at bats are terrible, blah blah blah. But then here they are at the end with a fighting chance. So it's a professional team. These guys aren't a bunch of young guys who don't know how to win. They are playing younger guys, yes, but even some of these young guys know how to win ball games. I mean, Ezekiel Duran, for instance, was part of a World Series team last year, and Josh Smith. Obviously, his first full season, but he was on the World Series team last year too. So there are guys who know how to win games and know how to do the right things late. But yeah, these guys aren't quitting. And 5 games under 500, eight and a half back in the division for the first time in a long time. They're actually closer in the wild card standings, but there's more teams to pass. But it's the Rangers wanted to finish strong. That's been the hope all month. And we're 8 days in. Happy birthday, Leody Taveras. 8 days in, and the Rangers are finishing strong.
Yeah, they gave Leody the day off to celebrate his birthday in fashion. But it's interesting too, just that the biggest sort of continuing question mark for the Rangers this season has been the offense, right? And last night was really no exception, despite what turned out to be the final score. They didn't get a hit until the 5th inning. The offense continues to kind of struggle a little bit. Thank goodness it came through in the clutch.
Yeah, no doubt. And it seems that the starting pitcher that it struggles for the most is who's playing today, Andrew Heaney. I mean, you were telling me earlier today, what was the stat?
Last 3 starts, Jeff, Heaney's got a 0.60 with 18 strikeouts and 3 walks and nothing to show for it.
Yeah, and it's tough. Boch, I think, even shared with me earlier. He said you really wanted to see more from the young guys. Justin Foskew's 0 for 25 in his last at bats. Jonah Heim's 0-21. So Wyatt Langford, I do want to point out something positive. He's hitting 357 in 7 games in September, 5 extra base hits, 9 RBI. He has a hit in each game. So you are seeing a lot from Wyatt Langford, but gosh, he can't be the only one.
No, but who you are also seeing it from, Jeff, was the guy who broke it open, or at least broke the dam last night, and that's Ezekiel Duran. He's done a really nice job with his opportunities. He's gotten more, and he's made the most of them.
Well, the Rangers know what he's capable of when he is getting regular at bats. He did it last year, filling in for Corey Seager. Could have made a case last year that he should have been on the American League All-Star team. You really could have. I think if there's a utility position, the NFL has like a special teams player that gets selected for the Pro Bowl. They should have a utility guy who can get selected to the All-Star game. What's another player? Add another player to the roster. They're already big and out of control and changing throughout the week. So just add a guy. Reward somebody for being who's able to play multiple positions and produce while doing that. I mean, it's not easy, but Duran, when he gets regular at bats, does a very good job. He's a terrific hitter in the minor leagues. I remember after the trade was made in the offseason, Michael Young, who knows a thing or two about hitting, said that Ezekiel Duran is going to be a great hitter one day, and he can be. So it's a matter of just getting him the playing time, which isn't easy to do when you have Marcus Semien, Corey Seager, and Josh Young. So that's kind of the thing. Are the Rangers in a position where they could deal one of these guys, Josh Smith or Ezekiel Duran? It's a tough spot for these two young players to be in, but they are in the major leagues, and when they get their opportunities, they're seizing them here of late, especially.
Business is business,
Yeah,
but also defense too. His catch last night.
Yeah, how about that catch in left field last night? That again, that game might have been broken open without that one.
Yeah, and he's never played outfield really.
Right.
These guys are learning it at the highest level. Josh Smith can go out there too, but I would think that Jonathan Ornelas, he's played center field in the minor leagues. Whatever they can do to get on the field is kind of what they need to do, and really to have a guy like that on the team. If you have a guy on the injured list and then his backup needs a day or two for an illness or something, you can have a guy that just say, hey, you go play shortstop. I know you played left field last night and you may play second tomorrow, but they're very, very useful players to have on a team and on a championship team.
So it's time to talk a little bit about a lot of different pitchers, Jeff, and we'll start with Jack Leiter, the starter from last night. His game in many ways looked a lot like what he did against the Yankees in his previous start, which was good. We felt like it was several steps forward from where he had been in the one before that against the White Sox. So afterwards and in analyzing and assessing this, did he feel like this was another step forward, or at least not a step back?
Yeah, I think that's the deal. It wasn't a step back. He basically went as far as he did against the Yankees, almost to the exact pitch number. And then he only faced one batter there in the sixth. They wanted to, it was a matchup situation. He ended up walking the guy and he ended up scoring. But it was a good outing when you look at the first inning against the Yankees. He 9 pitches. 3 up, 3 down, or not 3 up, 3 down, but he only faced 3 batters, some hard hit balls. But in this one, he gave up the leadoff homer, came back. There was a pass ball that figured into it, a hit by pitch, and he still only allowed 2 runs. And then he collected himself and didn't allow another run until the 6th. So not a step back, probably a step forward in some ways, to not get undone by an inning like that. And to remain composed and figure out how to, get the engine back idling the right way. Maybe it was revving too much. I don't know. But and then I think, and he said it afterward, every pitch matters.
Yeah.
from the first batter of the game to the last guy you're facing. There are no opportunities to take a deep breath. You know, the pitcher doesn't bat anymore. So that leadoff homer might have woken him up a little bit and done more good for him than bad.
Yeah, and I was there last night, and just to reiterate what Jeff's saying, he said that's the frustration of baseball. Sometimes the first pitch is just as important as the last one. Bruce Bochy was kind of joking. He had the plan to go into the sixth inning, face the one batter, and Kennedy Landry asked, "Hey, if you would have struck him out, do you think you would have let him keep going?" And he said, "No, I don't know. We'll see about that." So, yeah, I think big improvement there. One thing that Jack and I talked about, I went up to him a few days ago and I said, what would you consider a successful start for yourself? And he said execution is the number one thing. I talked to him a little bit about how he deals with the mental game because he was so jumpy in his first few starts. He said that whatever he thinks about kind of just happens. So it's a lot of mental preparation. You can see that he's working on that. I think Nathan Eovaldi is really helping him there. But I think it's definitely a step in the right direction. We saw a career high of 6 strikeouts. 6 of those strikeouts, 4 came on a fastball, 2 on a curveball, which he doesn't. The thing is he's got a good curveball. He just hasn't shown it a lot. You hope that he's starting to trust that pitch a little bit more, the scenarios to throw it. But yeah, I mean, I think Josh Smith said it best. Leiter was a big reason that the Rangers were able to stay in that game because to give up a home run, third pitch in the game, that's difficult to do. So Jack Leiter, I think it's a few steps forward in the right direction, no doubt.
Along those lines, Jeff, velo was up a tick, but also 20 swings and misses. I mean,
12 on the fastball.
12 on the fastball. He was really getting, he was missing bats.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that speaks to both execution and stuff. If you put a pitch where you want it, a guy can swing at it 100 times, he's not going to hit it. And Jack has always had the stuff. It's been the command and the execution. And once he's able to do that, and it looks like he's been able to the last 2 starts, look like he's able to do it in AAA, especially against a lower graded hitter, but still pretty good group of guys down there. And so, yeah, and it again this month, and he talked about getting into a routine, and we've talked about it a lot. It's such a big deal for him to know that he doesn't have to look over his shoulder and wonder when he's going to get sent back down, or know ahead of time that he's going to get sent back down. It just makes things a lot easier between the ears for these guys. It allows them to focus on what they need to focus on.
Yeah, it's interesting, especially given what you said and heard from Boach, that it was sort of a preordained plan to go one batter into the 6th inning. Now, when it was time, it seemed like Jack was a little bit disappointed, mad, like, I don't want, and I like that in a guy, right? I mean, he has that fire. I want to stay in this game. I want to go deeper, go further.
And I think that's something that they're working on. I think next start, you'll see his longest outing so far of his MLB career.
Awesome. Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, and he's probably mad that he walked the guy too.
Yeah,
yeah.
For being honest,
he's hard on himself. Yeah, he
it's
kept
like
track
it's like
of
everything.
True.
It's like ending a round of golf with a double bogey or something. You don't want to.
Yeah.
You don't want to end that way.
But he is using a little bit more of that arsenal. His last start against the Yankees, he only threw the curveball, I think, like 10% of the time. He was actually split with the slider and the curveball distribution, and then also with the changeup too. So he's getting more comfortable out there. He has great stuff. He's learning that it can work at the major league level. I loved it.
Yeah, it's all part of the maturation process for a guy like him, and it's great to see. And there are so many other sort of positive developments on the pitching front. Let's get to the next one, Jeff, which is Jacob deGrom's outing in the green jersey last night for the Frisco Rough Riders. And again, he was just awesome. You expect that in a way against a Double-A team, but he got to 49, not 50 pitches, but he did everything that you were hoping, and he was hoping he would do in this 4th and final, we believe, rehab tune-up.
Yeah, I talked to him as he's coming off the field after throwing today. It coincided with the manager talking, and so I put my tape recorder down and to listen to Bochy, and I went and flagged him down because I have my phone. These phones are amazing these days. You can record all kinds of stuff. But he said everything went good. He was happy with his slider. He felt his mechanics were good, and so he's ready to go. I mean, the next step is handling the adrenaline and facing big league hitters again. And it looks like he's probably going to do that. Penciled in for Friday at Seattle, where it'll be nice and cold and pitcher-friendly ballpark. Not that he needs any more advantages, but he also said it's going to be a work in progress. Just the first time back, he's going to be fired up. And he said a couple live BPs ago that when he gets fired up, sometimes his ball climbs in the strike zone, and that's where he makes mistakes. He pointed to opening day last year and his start against the Phillies. But mechanics, this guy preaches and lives by his mechanics, and he's just been sorting them out. And ever since he got back off a mound, it's accelerated. He doesn't like throwing off a flat ground because it doesn't give him a true read about, where his arm's supposed to be and all that stuff. So, but he felt really, really good about last night. So I think that he called it a huge step forward. So probably get three starts in before the season ends.
Yeah.
And just no matter what happens in him, he can go into the offseason knowing that he's healthy and can prepare for a 30 start season in 2025.
Yeah, I
That'd
guess
be something.
Yeah, and that's a question, isn't it? And that's why it was, it seems obvious, right? How did you feel? But you could have lingering things after a surgery like Tommy John. And so I think in some ways, Jeff, the greatest news is that as he continues to pitch and continues to stretch it out a little bit, is that he isn't having any sort of symptoms or feelings or any kind of thing that would trouble you if you're him or if you're the doctors.
Yeah, well, there is something to look out for going forward. And it happened to Tyler Malley, who his shoulder started feeling stiff, and he's not going to pitch again this season. After he came back, 3 starts he came back from Tommy John, and it was affecting him. Jeffrey Springs, who was a former Rangers reliever, he's now a starter now for the Rays. He came back from Tommy John last month. He just went on the IL today. Yu Darvish in 2016, when he came off the IL after Tommy John with the Rangers, had some shoulder and neck stiffness and spent a month on the IL. So, maybe guys are focused so much on their elbow that they forget to do maintenance on the other parts. But this is deGrom's second time through the surgery, so I'm guessing that he has some pointers from last time that he still remembers and is just taking. It's a total maintenance care. It's like going in for a tune-up. You're not just getting an oil change; you're getting it all done and taken care of. And as long as he's still pumping. I mean, these guys are sore after starts. I mean, it's just you're making these repeated physical, heavy strength movements, power movements, so you're going to be sore. He said he's usually a second day soreness guy, so maybe tomorrow on the off day it'll be a little worse, but nothing out of the ordinary from him after any of these starts so far.
Jeff, anything specific on the slider from deGrom? I know that when he talked to us, that was one of the things that he was really kind of hung up on himself.
Well, he didn't. I guess he didn't like the shape of it, the command of it. I don't think he liked any of it. But he if he's happy with his slider, then everybody else in the world should be happy, and all the hitters out there should be terrified because when it tunnels off his fastball, and he likes to throw in the lower outside corner when it looks like a fastball, and all of a sudden it's 8, 10, 12 inches off the plate, and you're still swinging and looking like an idiot. That's when Jacob deGrom's really good. But he threw his changeup a lot yesterday too, he said, and liked the way it was. So I mean, this guy's just, again, when he's healthy, he's the best pitcher in the world. And it's triple digit velocity, changeups and sliders in the 90s. It's just power stuff with pinpoint command, and you just don't see that very often.
Yeah, and since we didn't get a chance to see very many starts last year before he got hurt, one of the things we don't yet know is how critical or how analytical he is of himself after a start. But he was saying in the postgame last night that he just, and it's the same thing he said to you, the same message anyway, he just didn't like the slider in his last start. And I was thinking, even as he said it, yeah, I mean, it was probably great by comparison to
he's-
almost any other slider in
he's
the
the
game.
hardest on
But
himself.
he's obviously, like you say, Jeff, best pitcher in the world. He's a perfectionist about it. He wants it right.
Yeah.
He's set a real high bar for himself. I mean, he even kind of said that to me between starts. He knows what Cy Young worthy pitching looks like, and and what those pitches look like, and it wasn't there, and it may not be there over these next 3 starts, but it's going to be really good. That's just it. It's going to be really good, and you're right. I mean, probably 95% of the pitchers out there would kill for his bad slider. And I'm really excited. I'm really looking forward to seeing him pitch, and hopefully next year it's 25 to 33 starts.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure they'd be careful with him because it's a big investment, not just for next year, but for the 2 years after that. But I really am looking forward to seeing Jacob deGrom.
And you're
Aren't we
thinking
all?
you're thinking
See what he can do.
Friday. You're thinking Friday, not Thursday, for his next for if he comes back into the
Yeah,
Rangers rotation.
Bruce Bochy said on his coach's show on the fan that he's penciled in for Friday. Jacob said they might give him. Jacob didn't know, and he said they've talked about 6 days or 7 days. So 6 would be Friday, and yeah. But it just depends on how he feels. But then they also have Max Scherzer to think about too.
Right. So yeah, that's the next topic. Max Scherzer pitched last night and had a great outing himself. What do we think? His trajectory is as far as when he would be ready to be back. He's certainly not coming back from anything nearly as severe as Tommy John surgery.
Yeah, he was fantastic. Also, I mean, he just the one walk he issued was an intentional walk. Because he wanted to face a right-handed batter. He knew what he was doing. So but I think he hit the next guy. Anyway, it was great. 8 strikeouts and 4 scoreless innings. He pitched in Las Vegas, so they're 2 hours behind us time wise, and so he did not arrive to the clubhouse pregame, so nobody talked to him yet on the team. He's gotten kind of to this point before where it's been like right on the cusp and then something starts barking. So they don't have a date for him yet. They want to talk to him first, but I'm going to guess it's the Seattle series still. Maybe that's Saturday if DeGrom's going to go Friday. But man, this is what everybody wanted to see.
Yeah.
And everybody thought it would be with the Rangers in first place, but it's big for DeGrom to come back, or for DeGrom to come back to get ready for next year. It's big for Scherzer too because he wants to keep pitching. He's going to be a free agent. I don't think the Rangers would re-sign him, at least not at probably what he wants. But if he just wants to come back and has something to prove, and if the price is right, I could see it happening for sure. He really likes it here. I mean, he's not he's still in the media spotlight, but there's only 3 or 4 guys around his locker every day as opposed to 10 or 12. So it's a lot less stress. He knows Mike Maddox from previous relationship in Washington, won a Cy Young or 2, I think, under Mike Maddox. So there's a lot for Max to like. And if he's healthy, there's a lot for the Rangers to like, as long as it's at the right price.
You got Rocker, who went Friday, Kumar Rocker, and another one who everybody's thinking, can we bring him up now? Can we bring him up now? Again, probably not prudent, especially not with all these other pitchers you're trying to add back into the rotation.
Right. That's something that Kennedy Landry asked today. Are the Rangers considering a 6-man rotation? Because you don't want to. You're not going to take out Nathan Eovaldi. Andrew Heaney doesn't deserve to be taken out. I know he's a free agent and may not be re-signed, but gosh, he's been your most consistent starter, at least in terms of answering the bell every 5th day. Then you have Cody Bradford, who you want to evaluate, Jack Leiter, who you for sure want to evaluate, DeGrom, who you want to evaluate, and then Scherzer, maybe you don't want to evaluate him really, but you don't want the optics if you're the general manager of saying, Max, go to the bullpen. We have more important things to do. You don't treat a Hall of Famer like that.
No.
You want free agents to see you treat guys the right way, and doing that to Max Scherzer would not be the right thing. So I don't know what's going to happen, with the rotation. A 6-man rotation makes a lot of sense, honestly, but these things always have a way of working themselves out too. Not to be ominous, but somebody may wake up with a sore ankle or a blister on their middle finger or something, and they can't pitch. So we'll see what happens, but it seems like there's a lot of work to do with the rotation just to get through the end of this season.
Bruce Bochy also shared that Kumar, we've said that he looks completely different than he did in spring training, but he felt strongly that he's exactly where he needs to be for his development. And if a guy like Bruce Bochy's saying that, I think I'm going to trust,
Yeah, and both
that
seemed
opinion.
actually surprised
He did.
at how well he's doing,
He
right?
did. Yeah, one of the best recoveries.
Yeah, I mean, I think the door's open. I think it's a possibility that Rocker makes a start or two in the major leagues. But remember this time last year, everybody thought that Wyatt Langford was going to be added to the roster too, and that went until the end of the season. It was even a thing in the postseason too,
Right.
especially
when
Adolis got hurt. So it's I don't know what they're going to do. I don't know that there's no need to do it. Maybe it would just be satisfying your own itch to see how he would do, how he would handle things. The Blue Jays did it with Roy Halladay late in whatever year that was, 94, 95, and he almost threw a no-hitter in his first start. But then in the next year, he had to go to rookie ball because he got all messed up. Now, I don't know that would happen to Kumar Rocker necessarily, but I don't know that there's a need to do it.
Rangers are really good in these powder blue uniforms that they'll be wearing today. 7-3, I think, is the record overall this season. They're really good in day games at home. They've really been good at home. Maybe, just maybe, Jeff, they'll get Andrew Heaney some runs today.
Offense, my goodness.
Well, yeah, the starting pitcher for the Angels, his name is Caden Dana. He went to Donnie Bosco Prep in New Jersey, which is the rival high school of Jack Leiter's high school, for those wondering. But he's got one big league start under his belt. Is pretty good too. 1 run in 6 innings. Throws in the middle 90s. I think that he's kind of ripe for the picking, though. This is a scenario where he could run into some veteran hitters here who know what they're doing and struggle. And this offense needs to score early, though. They need to score for Andrew Heaney, but 2, they need to score early and kind of let Heaney do his thing. So we'll see what happens, but I'm hopeful. I don't think the Angels are very good, but if their guy Dana goes out and has a good start, then who knows what's going to happen? Maybe another late inning comeback.
Yeah, and Andrew can get to 1,000.
And I was going to say, he's looking at 1,000 career innings pitched if he gets 6 1/3
nice
through there. But, Andrew Heaney has 1 run allowed over his last 3 starts, 15 innings combined. Rads and I were looking at the numbers earlier. This is insane. In his 11 seasons in the big leagues, this is his 3rd best season ERA of his career. He's at 3.8 right now. 2 below that. 3.1, 3.4, 2022 with the 1, 2015 with 4. So statistically speaking, Andrew Heaney is dealing, but the record doesn't show it. And Bruce Bochy just said, it seems like every year you just kind of have one guy that you have trouble getting run support for. And he's been that guy. Andrew Heaney had a hilarious comment after, because we asked him about it, and he was like, if I could hit, I would. I don't think I'd be too good at it. But he said, I trust them. I'm just going to let them do their thing.
It's gonna pay dividends ultimately the year he's had, Jeff, as a free agent after this season, right? He's whether it's here or somewhere else, he's going to get rewarded for this kind of a season.
Yeah, he's been durable. Those 2 ERA seasons that Abby was talking about, they weren't full seasons. They were 18 starts and 10 or 14 starts, I think. And so this is his best season in which he's made more than 25 starts. The key for him has been he was able to harness his control. It was getting away from him early in the season. He made maybe it was his 3rd or 4th start at Atlanta and didn't walk anybody, and that kind of zeroed things in. So he has a chance to make some money. It looks like he's a two times guy through the order. That's not to say that can't change. He does have some experience as a long reliever, swing guy type of situation. Maybe he could do that, but I think that his phone's going to be ringing. He's only 33. There'll be teams out there that will want to add him to their rotation, and maybe the Rangers do. Depending on how things shake out, what they decide to do with how fast they want to move Rocker, if they think Leiter can be in the rotation to start the season. You never know. If Nathan Eovaldi becomes a free agent and doesn't re-sign, so there are a lot of situations there. But Andrew Heaney has put himself in a really good spot.
Well, we've got fingers crossed for Andrew Heaney. If the Rangers win today, they make it a 7-3 homestand. That is just fantastic. It would, and they're already 9-3 in their last 12, the best 12-game stretch of the season. Jeff, great chatting with you. Enjoy the game. We will have you join us again on the post-game edition of this DLLS Rangers podcast. And yeah, we're excited about the game.
Play
we
hard,
hope
have
you are
fun,
too.
Score some runs. My goodness.
There you go. Simple as that. Play hard, have fun. We'll see you after the game.
We all silly like the mayor.